What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and today I'm coming at you with my weigh-in recap for UFC 322, Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. You guys know the deal. We're going to go over all the fights, we're going to go over the weigh-ins, the face-offs, and we're going to tell you everything you need to know to make your picks and your bets for UFC 322. So without further ado, let's get right into it. First up, we got Susurkaev versus Matheus Camilo. Now, Susurkaev had to bring in the tent to make weight originally. As you can see, I mean, he's throwing up the double P sign like he's in iCarly, but hey, he looks happy, he looks here, he's ready to have a good time, so you gotta love Susurkaev. You gotta love a Susurkaev fight. But anyway, this is them the first time they had to make weight. This is him after he got out of the tent, ended up making weight 155.8 and 155.8 for both guys. They had a digital scale, they're in New York, apparently they got the digital scales, so we're doing decimals here. We're going with the 0.8 as opposed to usually they round it to a half pound or a full pound, so we got 155.8 for both guys. As you can see, I mean, they both seem ready to go. It was tough to get great shots of both of these guys, especially Camilo. He was just up there for like half a second, and then he ran off the stage. It was so damn fast when he was making weight for the first time. But they both seem fine. They both seem ready to go. Nothing really stood out to me negatively from either of these guys. But anyway, this was them. Oh, well, this is another picture of them that I got. We got Santa versus Neymar. Close comparison. But this was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. As you can see, both guys looking pretty good. Susurkaev embracing it with the hat. We got Matheus Camilo looking good on the scales. Both guys seem fine to me. They both seem ready to go. This was them at the face-offs. Pretty similar size. You can't really tell a whole lot with Susurkaev having the damn jacket on and the hat. But hey, they look pretty similar size-wise, especially in terms of the height. Nothing really changed in my opinion on this one, though. I can't really say anything stood out to me. Both guys seem fine. Both guys seem ready to go. Should be a good, pretty entertaining fight. So, next up, we got Baisangur Susurkaev versus McConico. McConico, same thing, had to bring in the tent, but he did make weight. So, 185.6 pounds for McConico, 185.2 for Baisangur Susurkaev. Susurkaev seemed a little funny, but nothing really too much stood out to me. It's just a little, seemed a little not as confident, and kind of like Josh Hogan. He seemed a little bit more quiet. Not like that. Like last week, that was pretty bad. But yeah, just a little bit quiet. Maybe he had a little bit of a tough weight cut. I don't know. He seemed fine, though. He didn't really seem too sunken in or physically weak or anything like that. Just a small detail. But yeah, this is them after the tent. Both guys made weight. McConico looked like he doesn't even want to be here. I don't know why he had this look on his face. It was like this the whole time. We'll talk about it at the ceremonials here in a second too. But Baisangur or Susurkaev, holy shit, he looked fine too. Both guys look fine, ready to go, muscular, lean, jack, ready to go. What can you say? Nothing stood out to me negatively from these guys making weight the first time. This was them at the ceremonials. Holy shit, the camera work from these ceremonial weigh-ins, in terms of they live stream this, the camera work needs to be studied. It is so hard to get good pictures. Some fights better than others, but this was another one. I'm like, holy shit. They didn't have the camera on Baisangur Susurkaev up on that scale for more than half a second. I had to go pause, start, back and forth trying to get the perfect screenshot. Not the best. However, it shows us what we already saw pretty much in the last one. Nothing really stood out. Maybe Baisangur filled out a little bit more, but McConico looks about the exact same. Still looks depressed. Looks like he doesn't want to be here. I don't know why McConico looks like this. Why he looks sad. Does he think he's going to get knocked out? Who knows? We will see. But this was them at the face-offs. The best thing about this is that you can't even see half of McConico's head because the damn Prime bottle is taking up half the screen. So, love that. L-ad. But, in terms of the face-off, both guys seem ready to go. Both seem fine. McConico, once again, looked like he didn't want to be here. Baisangur Susurkaev, he was super cocky at first when we saw him on the Contender Series and after his first fight in the UFC. So maybe he's dialed it in a little bit more. Maybe he got hurt by Eric Nolan and that kind of flipped the switch of all right, I'm not invincible. I need to lock in a little bit. Let's cut the antics a bit in terms of the cockiness and the shit talking. Let's reel it in a bit. So it kind of seemed like this is what he was doing. It seemed like he was just reeling it in a bit. He didn't seem like there was no timid energy or nervous energy or anxious type of vibes that I got from him. Kind of like Josh Hogan last week. It wasn't like that. It just seemed a bit more reserved. So not a bad thing at all. But anyway, next up, we got Angela Hill versus Fatima Kline. Now, my girl Fatima Kline came in looking great. This is what I was looking for. I was trying to see how she came in looking. Looked absolutely amazing. Angela Hill, I will say though, damn near 41 years old, looks absolutely incredible, as always. Nothing to say negatively about either girls in terms of how they came. This was the first time they had to make weight. Both girls came in under the limit, making weight. First time they had to make weight. It's just Father Time's undefeated. But anyway, this was them at the ceremonials. As you can see, 115 per each girl. Both girls look totally fine. Nothing really changed. I mean, nothing changed at all pretty much from the first time they had to make weight to the ceremonials. I'm sorry, I had to. But anyway, this was them. This was the face-off. It was pretty intense. I will say the face-off was pretty intense between these two. It was lighthearted in the sense of, there was no bad blood. They're just both being intense for the show, for the showmanship between both girls. It was pretty intense, though. At the end, they kind of laughed it off and they shook hands and it was all good. But yeah, dude, Fatima Kline, she's ready to go. So is Angela Hill. They're both ready to go. But hoping our girl Fatima Kline gets the job done here tomorrow. But anyway, next up, we got Pat Sabatini versus Chepe Mariscal. Both guys making weight 145.6 for both guys. That's not a typo. They just weighed the exact same. Crazy. But I will say, both guys came in looking like absolute bodybuilders. I mean, both these guys are absolutely shredded to the gills, jacked as hell. I mean, they got muscles on muscles. They're both ready to go. You can tell they both have to cut quite a bit of weight, as we know. But they both seem fine. Weight cuts seem to be fine. No, neither of them really look bad. Neither of them seem to have any problems with the weight cut, just besides being lean. So, they both look fine. This was Pat Sabatini kind of reminded me of this meme. I don't know. He had this, blanks there. I don't know. It's pretty funny. But this was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. Both guys seem ready to go. Both guys seem totally fine. You can definitely tell they filled in a little bit. They're not as lean. They definitely got some water in the tank to kind of fill them up a little bit. You could definitely tell from both these guys. Comparing them from this picture to this, it's a bit of a difference, I will say. But that's a good thing. That's what you want to see from both guys. They both seem fine and healthy and ready to go. This is them at the face-offs. Oh, this shit was so funny. Basically, they were supposed to face off right in front of Dana White, where you could see he's behind Chepe. And Pat Sabatini was having no part of it. He was like, nope, I don't want to do it. He was standing all the way back, so Chepe kind of bridged the distance and walked right up to him. Pretty funny. Got up in his face. It was pretty funny. Sabatini kind of had this look on his face of oh shit, I really got to fight this guy. I don't know. He kind of had this weird energy of ooh. It kind of looked like he stepped in dog shit and he didn't want to look at it because he knew it was not going to be pretty. It kind of had this look. I don't know. It just kind of had this vibe. I don't know if he's worried about getting knocked out. He's been chinned before. He just might get chinned again. But I will say both guys look fine, though. Both guys seem healthy, ready to go. Going to be a good scrap between these two. Next up, we got Daukaus versus Gerald Meerschaert. Now, I will say, Gerald Meerschaert, GM3, he's looking a bit older. I will say, these weight cuts are probably not the best for him. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his face. He looked a bit sunken in. He didn't seem full of energy. He looked a little bit drained, a little bit hesitant, a little bit lackadaisious. Not the best look for GM3. I will say, he's had a million fights, so he's a veteran. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. It's just, it almost feels like you can just see him slowing down in real time. I don't know. Daukaus, on the other hand, not really the best look, but not a bad look, just in the sense of he didn't seem full of energy. He seemed fine, though. Nothing negative from either of these guys. They seem fine. GM3 definitely seemed the worst between the two, but nothing really nothing that negative. This is just minor little things. Not really a big deal here. But yeah, both guys made weight, 186 and 185.6 respectively. Both seem fine, though, the first time they had to make weight. This was later on at the ceremonials. Same thing. They both seem about the same. Nothing negative really stood out to me from either guy. GM3 does look a little bit not great, but not really anything to really point out. Nothing really too significant to point out for this one. But anyway, this is them at the face-offs. I mean, we kind of knew what we were going to see between these two. We knew Daukaus was going to be a bit taller. GM3 maybe a bit wider. Nothing really surprised me here. Nothing really stood out to me in a negative way from between these at all. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? It's kind of what this feels like, man. They just keep setting them up. Just setting them up, setting them up. GM3 is a GOAT, though. Shout out to GM3. He is a legend. But yeah, this might not be great. This might not be great for him. But anyway, if you guys like the content, help your boy out with the algorithm and drop a comment. It helps a lot. Totally free. So thank you guys so much for all the love in the videos. Let's keep it going. Next up, we got Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethyn Ewing. Short notice replacement. We had Cody Haddon. Apparently, I watched Malcolm Wellmaker's video on Instagram. He said that Cody Haddon broke his foot or something. I don't know if that's true or not. He didn't really seem like he was positive about that. But Cody Haddon out. In steps Ethyn Ewing. Now, this guy, pretty decent record. Has had a decent run on the regional scene, beating some lower level guys. He just beat, what's his damn name? The dude who got knocked out by Peyton Talbot. We'll talk about this at the end. I'm kind of blanking on his name. And I'll pull it up at the very end. But decent record. He's been on a nice little win streak. They pulled him up. Short notice. He just fought Billy Brand, that's the guy's name. He fought on the Contender Series. He lost in the Contender Series as well. But yeah, Billy Brand, he fought him like a week ago. He fought him on November 7th, I believe. So about a week ago he fought. So he should be ready to go in terms of his like cardio and his body being in fight ready shape. He should be ready to go. He just fought like a week ago. So this is interesting as well too. The one thing I want to point out about this is that they are actually stepping up to featherweight. They're normally bantamweight fighters, both of them, but the short notice step up, the weight cut was probably going to be too much for Ethyn to cut down to 135. So they're doing it at 145. Ethyn Ewing already at the limit. Malcolm Wellmaker didn't even make the limit. Interesting. Maybe I don't know how far along the cut he was into. I mean, I didn't know how much weight he was down. I don't know how much weight he has to cut to get down to 135 just to begin with. Who knows? A bit of a point I wanted to notice though is okay, Ethyn Ewing definitely is having to come down to this limit where Malcolm Wellmaker, he's just probably putting weight back on. He's not really trying to cut down at all. So I do think Malcolm Wellmaker should still win this fight. I think he's the better fighter, but I will say, through Ethyn Ewing's tape, he looks decent. I will say he's a bit hittable in terms of his striking. He can get hit quite a bit by lower level guys, which isn't a good look, but his chin has seemed to hold up pretty well. I went through his record. I was looking, there was one loss he had a decision, and there's another loss that he had, he got heel hooked in the first round. Not a good look. And that's the one thing I would say as a negative about Ethyn Ewing is that his takedown defense isn't the best. Guys who try to take him down, they definitely can. Even Billy Brand, we saw him. He was able to land takedowns on Ethyn Ewing before he got knocked out. But yeah, this guy, he looks good offensively. I will say, striking looks pretty crisp, looks pretty clean offensively. Defensively, he can be hit. It's just a matter of how his chin is. That's the only thing that really worries me about this is because we haven't seen Ethyn Ewing knocked out before. I haven't seen any of his tape where he was cracked really badly. So from what I've seen, I have not seen that. So I do have the question here of how is his chin going to hold up to a guy like Malcolm Wellmaker. Lucky for Ethyn Ewing, the main weakness that I saw in his game was his ability to be taken down. And obviously Malcolm Wellmaker is probably not going to do that. Malcolm Wellmaker wants to stand and strike on the feet. I'm a bit hesitant with this one, I will say, though. I think people are on the opposite ends of the spectrum here. On one hand, I feel like some people are saying, oh, dude, Malcolm Wellmaker is just going to run right through this guy like it's nothing. I don't think Ethyn Ewing's that bad. And on the other hand, you have people saying, dude, Ethyn Ewing just beat Billy Brand and he knocked him out in one round. Dude, Ethyn Ewing's totally UFC level, 100%. I'm not quite there yet either. Just because you're running through lower level bums on the regional scene doesn't mean you're ready for the UFC. I think it's a bit of somewhere in between. Ethyn Ewing looks pretty good for what we've seen so far. In terms of his tape, from what I've seen, he looks pretty decent. Looks nothing great, nothing bad. If he made it to the UFC, I can't say I'd be mind blown. If he didn't, I can't say I'd be mind blown either. It just seems like a middle of the pack type of a guy. He's still young too. He can get better. He can improve in years to come. We will have to see. But yeah, I assume Malcolm Wellmaker should be able to beat him. I think the money line -5,600 is a bit crazy, especially because this guy just fought a week ago. He is going to be fight ready. I mean, his cardio is going to be there. He should be able to last as long as his chin can hold up. So I really think it comes down to can Ethyn Ewing, can his chin hold up? Can it absorb some shots? Because I think the striking could be close. I've seen him be defensively, I don't want to say vulnerable, but I've seen in the striking defensively, he's had moments where he's let lower level guys really test his durability. They've tested his chin quite a few times, which is a concern against a guy like Malcolm Wellmaker, who has devastating power. So I got to pick Malcolm Wellmaker. He's at least proven in the UFC. I know against lower level guys, but still, Cameron Simon is a respectable win. Ethyn Ewing hasn't had that level of an opponent yet. I know people are kind of writing off Cameron Simon, but he is still a high level guy. I still put a lot of respect on that win. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's still got to pick Malcolm Wellmaker. He's had this full camp. He's been ready for this. Ethyn Ewing is taking this on very short notice, less than like 2 days notice. So that is something to consider, obviously. 145, where they're fighting at, is another factor to consider. I just think there's a lot of question marks that Malcolm Wellmaker at -500 is kind of crazy. This just seems like one you should just take a seat back and be like, all right, we don't really know how good Ethyn Ewing is. We don't know if he's UFC level, if he is or if he isn't. Let's see how this one goes. Because we've seen Malcolm Wellmaker. He does have a death touch, but it's not like he's knocking everyone out. We've seen him go to decisions. We've seen him go to split decisions and majority of decisions against guys that aren't great. So there's still a lot to be proven from Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm a huge Malcolm Wellmaker fan. I love the kid. He seems awesome. I'm super excited to have Malcolm Wellmaker in the UFC. I love watching his fights. But there is still a lot he needs to prove. So before you go crazy on Malcolm Wellmaker parlays like a madman, I'd say just probably weigh this one off. I'd say just let this ball roll, see what happens, and let it ride. But anyway, this is them the first time they had to make, the first time they had to make weight. I was trying to think. It wasn't that recent. But yeah, first time they had to make weight. Both came in, looked totally fine, ready to go. I made these memes beforehand, before I watched the tape on him, because I assumed he was going to be some random regional bum that just is coming in here to die as like a sacrificial lamb. I don't think this is the case. I had these in here. I wanted to leave them in here. But I was going to leave them in here. But I really don't think this is the case. I don't think this meme is actually accurate. I think Ethyn Ewing actually has a decent chance. So, yeah, I made this. I was going to leave this one in too. Yeah, short notice replacements. I mean, there hasn't been a great history. We even saw Eric Nolan got starched in his too. There hasn't been a great history. However, I think of the last three. I mean, if you look at Tristan Vines, Eric Nolan, and Ethyn Ewing probably has the best chance at all three of those. So, minus 500, just a little bit wide. We'll have to see though. We will have to see. But anyway, this was them. I guess I have the slide again. This was them when they made weight. Boom. This was them. Oh, this is the funny thing too. This Ethyn Ewing guy. I had to put this in here. His handle is Professor Finesser MMA for social media. I just thought that shit was hilarious. Professor Finesser. I kind of like it. I will say though, he got up there on the scales. This is when they had to do the ceremonials. He seemed more ready to go than guys who were actually in the UFC and have had this full camp. I mean, you compare it to guys like Eric McConico, he didn't even look like he wanted to be here. Ethyn Ewing was turned up, ready to go. So I got to say, respect to Ethyn Ewing. He's kind of a dog, low key. But yeah, and obviously our boy Malcolm Wellmaker, all smiles, ready to go. Malcolm Wellmaker is an absolute beast as well. So super excited for this one. It's going to be pretty crazy. It could go a lot of different ways. We will have to see. I do like this for Malcolm Wellmaker, though. This is definitely an easier fight than a Ethyn Ewing, or than a Cody Haddon, because Cody Haddon had that real grappling threat. What we've seen from Ethyn Ewing, he's not one to take it to the ground. He wants to stand. He wants to strike. He does not want to grapple. There was one fight that I watched of him too, where some guy, like, there was some moment, I forget if he caught a kick or something, but he had the opportunity to go for a takedown, and he shoves this guy down, and he literally does not even want to follow him to the ground. He says, screw that. I don't even want to go to the ground with you. I'd rather just stand and strike. So this is going to be a striking match on the feet, at least from the Ethyn Ewing side. I mean, maybe Malcolm Wellmaker lands a takedown. Who the hell knows? But I think Malcolm Wellmaker is going to have the type of fight that he wants to have in this fight against Ethyn Ewing. It's going to be a back and forth striking match. That's what I assume this will be for 15 minutes. Maybe someone gets knocked out. Maybe someone doesn't. This could look closer than the odds suggest. Who knows? Or maybe Malcolm Wellmaker touches this guy's chin. Maybe we've never seen Ethyn Ewing's chin tested before, but maybe it's not that great. Maybe Malcolm Wellmaker is able to crack it. We shall see. But anyway, in terms of the face-offs, both guys seem ready to go. I will say Ethyn Ewing has some damn good confidence. I mean, he has a lot of confidence considering he's just stepping up and taking this fight. He is very confident in himself. I do respect that quite a bit. But yeah, Malcolm Wellmaker obviously extremely confident too, ready to go. This is going to be a fun scrap. Super fun scrap. I'm excited for this one. So anyway, this is going to be me though. If Malcolm Wellmaker wins, I had this in here before. I thought when I made the memes, I thought he was going to be fighting some regional scene bum. I'm hoping we can look like this. I'm hoping to look like this. I'm hoping to look like that picture with Malcolm Wellmaker getting his hands raised. I don't know why I have more doubt in this. But anyway, that's it for this one. Next up, we got Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. Both girls made weight, 125.8 and 125.6 pounds respectively. Both girls seem totally fine. They look great on the scales. The first time they had to make weight, they look ready to go. They look to be in great shape. Nothing negative stood out to me from either girl. This was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. A bit zoomed in a little bit more. As you can see, both girls seem fine and ready to go. Nothing stood out to me negatively. Wasn't really expecting anything to, but yeah, nothing really surprised me at all. This is them at the face-offs. Size-wise, very similar. Nothing really to stand out here at all. Can't really say a whole lot for this one, but Blanchfield versus Cortez is a much-watched fight. If your bro saying this, he might be a little sus. I'm not going to lie. Blanchfield versus Cortez is better than shakeup versus Wei Lee. If one of the homies is saying this. I just really love the high-level grappling of Tracy Cortez. They're lying. They might just be lying. They might just be lying. But anyway, next up, we got Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez. 185 pounds. Both guys made the limit. They both look ready to go. First time they had to make weight, as you guys can see. They both seem fine. This was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. I cannot stand the damn camera angles for the ceremonial weigh-ins. When I do these videos, I have to go and I have to resize the photos Not that I have to, but I try to do that for you guys so that you can get the better comparison, because a lot of times one will be zoomed in and the other won't be. So I have to go and I manually crop and zoom in and zoom out all the photos I line up the lines, as you can see, like the lines above the text and whatnot. I line those up to give a good comparison of how these guys' size and girls, how their size actually matches up. It takes me quite a bit of time to do this. It takes a lot. So I do this because I think it helps, but you get shit like this, I'm like, I can't do anything with this. I try to get better angles. I try to get better screenshots. They're just not there. The camera pans on for 2 seconds and then immediately changes. There's some stuff I can work with. This was just one of those I can't work with. I mean, you got Roman Kopylov looking like a flyweight, and you got Gregory Rodriguez looking like the size of Cyril Gahn. So, yeah, not the best comparison. However, this is them at the ceremonials. This is, as you can see, them at the ceremonials. They both seem fine, though. We'll get the better face-off with the size comparison, as you can see. Cooper needs you to find the difference between these two pictures. Dude, tell me Gregory Rodriguez does not look like Obama. He does. He looks so similar to Obama. It's like a carbon copy. But anyway, this was them at the face-offs. Can barely see half of Gregory Rodriguez's head because there's a damn Prime bottle advertisement over it. That was pissing me off throughout this whole video. But anyway, they both seem fine. They both seem ready to go. As you can see, both guys, size-wise, a lot more similar than I thought they might be. I thought G-Rod might really kind of overpower Roman Kopylov, but nope, they seem pretty fine. Definitely G-Rod is a bit more wide. He's definitely a bit more muscular, as you can see, especially in the arms. I mean, in terms of the width between their arms, it's there's a pretty big difference between the two. But overall, both guys seem fine. They both seem ready to go. I can't say the weigh-ins or the face-offs give me any negative vibes from either guy. They both seem fine, and they both seem ready to go. Should be a very good scrap. Now, next up, we got Bo Nickal versus Rodolfo Vieira. Both guys seem fine, ready to go. I will say, though, we could talk about Bo Nickal first. I mean, Bo Nickal, I feel like he could probably cut down to welterweight. It doesn't even seem like he has to cut that much weight. Against a guy like Rodolfo Vieira. Rodolfo Vieira has to, he's not going down to welterweight. There's no way in hell he's making welterweight. But Bo Nickal, I don't know. He probably could. But anyway, in terms of making weight, both guys seem fine, ready to go. Totally fine. Nothing really stood out to me from either guy. They both seem ready to go. This was them at the ceremonials. As you can see, we got Bo Nickal looking pretty much the exact same. Rodolfo Vieira, I will say, though, the complete clean shave and shaving the beard, I feel like he kind of lost a little bit of the swagger. I feel like he lost a little bit. This Rodolfo Vieira, he kind of looks like a Brazilian assassin here. I mean, he looks tough. I feel like he should have kept it. This is like, he's seen some shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking. I feel like he should have left it. But anyway, they both seem fine. That doesn't affect the fight at all. This is them at the face-offs. Like I said, the camera angles of some of these are atrocious. There was no zoomed-in camera angle. This is the best that we got. Not really saying we're missing a whole lot, but at the same time, it would have been nice to see a little bit closer up. They got the cameras there for a reason. Why not use them? But anyway, this is what we got in terms of the face-offs. Pretty respectable, both guys. Shaking hands. Being very polite, very respectable. No real mean mugging between the two. Bo Nickal a bit taller, ever so slightly, but Rodolfo Vieira definitely a little bit wider. Doesn't really stand out to me in terms of, nothing really mattered. Nothing really stood out to me in this of significance. Nothing really affects my pick at all or my confidence all that much. It is what it is. This could be a really good fight or it could be really boring. We will have to see. Who knows? But I can't really say I have a ton of hopes for this one. But anyway, facing off against Bo Nickal. But anyway, next up, we got Beneil Dariush versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Freaky ass Benoit Saint-Denis with the tongue out. As per usual, though, we're used to it. And then we got Beneil Dariush. He came in overweight, 157.2. He had to bring in the tent. Tent didn't do shit. This was them after the fact. 157.2, overweight. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. This was them. I mean, yeah, BSD, a bit freaky. But anyway, this is them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. Not a whole lot was really standing out to me. I will say, not a good look from Beneil Dariush missing weight like this. I don't know for what reason. Maybe it was a health-related thing. Maybe he just said, screw it. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident that I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to have to grapple this guy. Hopefully, I can bring in an extra pound or two, and hopefully that'll help me in the grappling. Maybe. It could have been strategic. It could have been maybe a health. He just couldn't do it. Who knows? But since we know that he's going to have to come into this with a grappling-heavy game plan, that makes me more inclined to think that it was a strategic move No proof, obviously, but just my thoughts on this. But yeah, both guys seem pretty fine, though. Nothing really stood out to me from them. From either one, they both seem fine, healthy, ready to go. This was them at the Faceoffs. Prime bottle over the head. Holy shit, this was infuriating with the prime bottles. But this one's not as bad. But in the Faceoffs, they both seem fine, ready to go. Nothing stood out to me negatively from either guy. Both seem fine. Both seem ready to go. Should be a good scrap between the two of them. Also, if you guys like the videos, if you like the content, it's totally free. If you guys could subscribe, it would help the boy out a ton with the channel. Helps us grow. Completely free. And if you're watching the videos, if you made it this far and you like it, please consider subscribing. It means a ton. So anyway, next up, we got Leon Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Both guys coming in at the limit, or just about 170 and 169.66 respectively. Both guys seem fine. Nothing stood out to me negatively from either guy. They both seem completely fine, healthy, seem to have really good weight cuts for both guys. They seem ready to go. Now, next up, this was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. Carlos Prates with enough ice to make a guy go blind. I mean, he was shining. The diamonds were dancing. I like the necklaces. They're pretty tough. But yeah, Leon Edwards looked great too. He looked fine. Both guys seem ready to go. Very healthy. Totally fine, in shape. Nothing stood out to me negatively from either guy. Now, this was them at the Faceoffs. I will say, Carlos Prates seems like one of the worst guys to have a face-off against because he's just mean mugging and he's like growling in your face. He's a scary dude. Not someone you want to have a face-off against. But I will say, this angle kind of shows Carlos Prates' face doing his normal. He normally does this. But I will say, Leon Edwards, stone cold. He very confident. No signs of weakness, of anxiety, nothing. I was impressed. You know, Leon Edwards, completely unfazed. Not saying this means a whole lot at all, but I was curious to see how this was going to look because we've seen Leon clip before. We know Carlos Prates has crazy knockout power. I gotta say, Leon Edwards doesn't seem to have any fear at all. Good look from Leon Edwards, I will say. He looked good in this face-off. But anyway, yeah, I do worry about this. I worry we could be in a similar situation like this for Leon Edwards. I do have that worry. But anyway, next up, we got Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. I mean, you can see the pictures are a bit off. I cropped them to be the same scale. It's just Michael Morales is so much larger than Sean Brady. I know the same weight class, obviously, but it's just Michael Morales is absolutely huge. He has to cut down a ton of weight to get down to 170. Pretty insane. Sean Brady looks ready, though. He looks good to go. He looks totally fine. He looked totally healthy. Seemed to have a really good weight cut. Same with Michael Morales. Both guys seem fine. Both guys seem healthy, ready to go. Both guys made weight. Nothing stood out to me from either guy. This was them at the ceremonials. Holy shit, this was probably the worst one in terms of the camera angles. I mean, this was the best that we could do here. Absolutely crazy. But, I mean, nothing really stood out to me in terms of the difference between the first time they had to make weight and the ceremonials. They both seem fine, healthy, in good shape, ready to go. Nothing stood out to me negatively. This was that. Close enough. Welcome back, Cameron. Michael Morales had this pink jacket that he had at the pre-fight press conference or whatever. I have to assume it was some type of homage for Cameron. I didn't see him doing that, or I didn't see him say that he was doing anything for Cameron, but I have to assume it was. I just thought it was pretty funny. But anyway, this was them at the Faceoffs. Holy moly. Michael Morales is absolutely huge. He's a menace. He is ginormous. And I know Sean Brady really isn't the tallest guy to begin with. Michael Morales is a freak, man. He's big. He's very big. I mean, I gotta say, man, like, holy. Michael Morales is a big dude. I think people are underestimating him this week. He could lose. He definitely could lose. Don't get me wrong. I think it's about a 50-50 of a fight. But I think people are writing him off for no reason. But anyway, next up, we got Valentina Shevchenko versus Weili Zhang. Both girls came in under 125 pounds, 124.64. Both girls seem fine, healthy, ready to go. All business from both. Nothing stood out to me negatively. This was them at the ceremonial weigh-ins. As you can see, both girls look fine, ready to go. Shevchenko with the damn, I don't know, pit vipers or whatever the hell they're called, the glasses. Bit crazy. But yeah, both girls seem totally fine, ready to go. All business, ready to go. This was them at the face-off. Nothing stood out to me, and I wasn't really expecting anything to. Both girls are fine. They're both professionals. They've been doing this for a while. Wasn't really expecting a whole lot to stand out, and nothing really did. They both seem confident, ready to go. It's going to be a good scrap between these two ladies. Next up, we got JDM versus Islam Makhachev for the belt. It's going to be a good fight. I will say, Della Maddalena came in with the tent. Ended up making weight, though, so this didn't really make a big difference at all. 169.8 and 170 on the dot for your boy Islam. This was them later on. I will say, JDM's looking pretty big. He's looking very sizable. I will say he definitely has to cut down quite a bit of weight, whereas Islam didn't really quite seem as cut down as JDM did. That was something that was interesting I wanted to point out to you guys. Not that it's like it's like a huge deal, but something to consider. It definitely seems like JDM cuts down a bit more weight than Islam does, at least from these photos, as you can see. But anyway, this was them later on at the ceremonials. It's a bit tough because we can't see Islam without his shirt, obviously. JDM, he's filling it in a little bit. I mean, not a huge difference, but especially in the face, I guess. He definitely seems a little more sunken in here as opposed to the ceremonials. So you can see him filling out a little bit. Interesting. Just something to consider. Interesting. Not really a huge deal, but just something to point out. But both guys seem fine. Both guys seem ready to go. This is hilarious. They were doing the little pre-fight intro videos. They got Islam climbing some random dune in a desert in his Yeezys. I just thought this shit was hilarious. They don't have Yeezys in Dagestan. He's getting westernized. I just thought this was funny. But anyway, this was them at the Faceoffs. This was the one that was like, holy shit. Prime bottle over Islam's entire head. Holy shit, put it at the bottom. Put it at the bottom. L advertisements. Holy shit. But anyway, this was the face-off. They both seemed fine. They both seemed ready to go. JDM trying to get his distance. I don't know what he was doing here. It was a bit funny. I don't know. I don't really know what to think of it. Not really a whole lot that stood out to me. JDM definitely seemed a little bit on edge, where Islam definitely seemed a bit more relaxed. But it kind of makes sense. You know, Islam's beaten just about everyone in his whole damn weight class. So him stepping up, he's definitely going to be the guy who's more confident in sense of what he's accomplished so far. So it makes sense why JDM might have been a little bit more on edge. But no, besides that, nothing really stood out to me at all. Both these guys seem ready to go. They both seem fine. It's going to be a very good scrap. I'm super excited for this one. But anyway, this is what this could look like. I'm worried, man. Islam's he's inevitable, bro. But anyway, this was for the locks and traps, how we had the confidence ratings and whatnot. In the blue, we had your guys' lock that you guys all voted on. We got them both in here. We obviously had the Wellmaker versus Haddon fight called off. So, with the update, I moved. I got Wellmaker versus, I forgot to change the damn name. Wellmaker versus, what's his name? Ewing, right? Ewing. I had that as a medium confidence pick for Wellmaker, just because he's had this whole camp to prepare for. And yes, I know that Ewing just fought like a week ago, but still, there's a difference. You know, he's been on the couch, and he just got to step up, short notice call to make the step up. So, I think there is a bit of a worry there in the sense of I don't know how prepared he is mentally. Maybe the last couple of days he's just been binging and drinking beer and eating hamburgers, you know what I mean? Like after a big fight winning like that, you're probably going to celebrate a little bit. So there could be that concern in that sense. And I do think Wellmaker, you know, he's undefeated. He seems to be a really good talent. I'm a huge fan of Wellmaker. He should be able to beat a guy like Ewing, who we really just don't know where he's at his skill wise. I can't say I'd be mind blown if Wellmaker were to lose. I would be surprised, but I can't put him as a high confidence pick just because we haven't seen a ton from Wellmaker and we haven't seen a ton from Ewing. So these guys both have a lot to prove. There's a lot of unknowns for both of these guys, so can't put anything more than a medium confidence pick. I put this as like my lowest medium confidence pick. I almost put it as my most high confident low confidence pick, if that makes sense. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal. Got Wellmaker as the pick. We will see how this one goes. In terms of my confidence being affected by these weigh-ins and face-offs, though, you know, I think Dariush missing weight isn't the best look. I think BSD really is filled in pretty well. He looks fine. He looks ready to go. And I don't really like the durability of Dariush as it is. So seeing him missing weight, if it is a health concern, that could be a huge red flag for this fight. So I do like BSD quite a bit. Just ever so slightly more. Same with Morales versus Brady. I think Morales, when I saw him in the scales, I wanted to see how these guys two, the both of them, kind of compared in the size difference between the two of them, and Morales looks huge out there. I mean, he looked bigger than I thought he would compared to Sean Brady, so that was a good sign for me. Obviously, size is not everything. This ain't a damn bodybuilding competition, but I just like seeing that size on Michael Morales compared to a guy like Sean Brady. Hopefully, it can help him against the cage, preventing some takedowns, so ever so slightly. But in terms of the final rankings, no, I'm not changing shit. I'm just leaving it as it is. Those were the only two little notes I wanted to point out. But yeah, I'm just kind of leaving it as it is. Not a whole lot stood out to me from the weigh-ins and face-offs that really changed my opinion all that much. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you guys so much for all the love on the recent videos. If you liked the video, drop a like, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And anyway, guys, I'm going to get this video out to you guys here ASAP. I'm going to get the best bets video out to you guys here probably tomorrow morning, early tomorrow morning. We'll get that video out to you guys. I'm wrapping that one up right now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for the love on the recent videos. It's been totally awesome. And I'll see you guys soon. So it's your boy Jacob from Topside MMA, and I'm out. Peace.